Welcome back to another episode. I've been painting. I said on last one that I've been painting. Do you want me to take you down there and show you? It's a bit of a squeeze down each side, you know, with the car in the middle, because I need to get down both sides. But in all honesty, it's worth the effort when I'm painting it at home. You know, the garage is only small, but we deal with it. So let's take down there. Now it's a little cold today and it started to run a little bit, but if it does do that, just dab it with your fingers, because it's 4:1 mix, so it's really thick. I've sprayed it with a 1.8 fluid tip. It's sort of going hard now, so there is little speckles of dirt, but look at my garage. It's not an oven, you know, and even if you were in an oven, you still get dirt anyway. So I think that looks pretty cool. So what I've got to do next week is prep that on Saturday. So what I did, I prepped it on Saturday and then painted it on Sunday. So we're on Sunday now. So where this join is here, I'm going to master that and just do this floor section. I think it'll look pretty cool. See how tight it is down here, but it is what it is. There's the repair section. You can slightly see it. I have put a skimmer filler over the what do you call it, where I've grinded it off. You know, it looks, you can still see where it was, and I'm not trying to hide anything, but looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Right, let me show you what I used. So some people, you know, when I was looking at products to use, I thought to myself, oh, I need this, I need that, I need all sorts. But in all fairness, that's all I've used. So I've got my spray gun. That spray gun's from 2004. That was 60 quid in 2004. That gun's beautiful. 1.8 fluid tip. It's a DeVilbiss finish line. Lovely little gun. I got that with it. So you get a spanner with it. I got a cleaning brush with it. Obviously I didn't get that with it. I bought that from Tesco's. And then I got a cheap one of these online, Sealy. That's cling film, because if it's only got a plastic, cover, and if you put any thinners on it, it damages it, so you can't see through it then. So I've got that on so that overspray doesn't go on it. Now on the floor of the car, this is to accompany the Raptor. So this stuff is designed for Raptor to go over it. So that's what I've bought. So I'm only using that on the floor so that the Raptor can go over it. And then mixing sticks, you know, like you need mixing pots to mix your paint up, blah blah blah. Filters to strain your paint. You get yourself a box of those. That you've got measuring sticks on it. You've got filters in there. And when you put your lid on, you can let it go off and throw it in the bin after. So those are perfect for anybody who wants them. They're the cigalas and the PPS pots. So I've got a 4:1 mix there, so I use a 4:1 to mix, and I mix it up and it strains it as well before it comes out of there. So if you look in here, so there's your little lids, there's your pots, there's 50 of them, there's your lids, and inside there's a little mesh filter, and I think it's 125 micron. which is really good. That's what I use anyway. And those were, if I remember correctly, I think they were 45 quid delivered to my house, and I got 50 of them. So I've used one now. So just imagine how many I can use and how many I can mix up. You've got all sorts of mixing, you know, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. I've never really used the rest of them. So I just thought I'd show you. And then, you know, that's all I've used. And obviously I had a wood stick to stir my paint up. So next time I bring you in, I'll have done the centre of the car. That's going to be next weekend. So Saturday, prep it. Sunday, paint it. The painting only takes, what? I think because everything's not at hand, we're being on a bench this big and everything's got, you know, it's a little bit messing about. So it probably took me about, what, 2 hours? Maybe half an hour to get myself set up. You've got one coat, you've got a 10-minute flash, you've got one coat, you've got a 10-minute flash, you've got one, and it's what, 15 degrees in here, and it's supposed to be 20. So, well, nearly 16 degrees in here. I haven't got a heater on or anything. It's summertime, so it's a bit warmer. So, by the time I've done that, by the time I've cleaned my gun out, by the time I've put everything away, about 2 hours, and that was just for that back section. So, my 1 litre, well, 100 litre, should I say, 1 litre. My 100 litre compressor worked perfectly with it. You know, I was struggling, thinking, is it going to have water coming through and things like that, but I drained it, and I do have one of those, and I drain it on every single coat, so that there's no water coming through, because if you get water coming through, you're knackered. Alright, so I'll bring you back again next weekend. Right, we're done. So that's the floor done. So today I came in, repaired it all, blew it all off, painted it. There's bits of dirt, lots of bits of dirt in it, but it's all getting rubbed down again and stone chipped. Probably I'd have to take, you know, I'm only priming, so when I come to paint, I'll take a little bit more care and cover the walls up and things like that, and cover the floor up, all that rubbish. I just thought I'd show you something as well. So when I spoke about those, there are other kinds that are very similar prices, but that was the cheapest. So you don't have to buy Segola, but you know, those were the cheapest. And I've also changed the gun that I use. So I'm using this one. It's a GTI, and it's quite old. It's from 1998. So I've had that for a very long time, and I love that gun. It's got a 1.4 in it instead of a 1.8. That 1.8 was just too aggressive, and I got a few runs in it, so that's got a 1.4 in it. My other gun, I don't have a 1.4. And also, if you're filming, keep your camera covered up, just cling film. So let's go and have a look at it anyway. It's a bit dark because I forgot to bring the lights from there into this section. It's like, can you see the ceiling? There's loads of dirt coming off it. There's webs and all sorts. So a lot of dirt here. That'll all nib off. it all has to be nibbed before I paint it, but it looks pretty good to me. It's nice and shiny, nice and wet. Actually, that Raptor stuff's got a nice finish to it. You could probably just leave it in that. Probably paint a car in that. You know, the finish on it's really smooth. I'll go around to the side. It were tight getting up on here. You see all the dirt. I don't know whether you can see it on camera. I can see it. Let's go a bit further back. So we're all good. I've done it all on a Saturday this as well, so it's took me about 5 hours to repair it. I've repaired where the joint were. I've just put a skimmer filler on it, one skim, don't need any more. And I've primed it. So next weekend I'm doing inside these wings, and I think with it being a 1.4 I might have a better time with it. So next weekend I'm going to be painting inside at wings. Not sure about the engine bay, but I'm definitely painting the inside of the wings. And then the weekend after I can get it all sealed up, finish off sealing inside the wings where I've missed it because I was sealing upside down. I can see everything with car turned over. So next weekend it's the wings, and then I've got to seal it all in, finish it off, and we're not before off getting ready for some Raptor. Just thought I'd bring you in and show you something that I've been struggling with for last weekend, this weekend. I should have had all that front end painted by now, but I've been struggling with these bars. So the bars that hold the mount on, you bolt the mount to the bar. So I ordered some bolts for it, and they said this is what they're specifically for, these bolts. The bolts wouldn't go in. Then I went to on eBay and I bought some more bolts, thinking that they were metric. Got them delivered, tried them in this bar again, I'm getting nowhere. So I went down to my local bolt shop. They couldn't help me, so I was just rooting around in my cupboard, and I'd already bought some bolts for, do you know the vents that go on the flitch panel? So all the bolts, all the nuts were corroded, so I had to grind them all off, and I've welded new nuts to them and put bolts in them for the vent things. And I looked at them and I thought, you know what, I'll have a try of those. So I tried them in the bar. Perfect. So I've been messing about and I had the bolts here all the time. So, you know, let's just show you. So I've got that one in. That one fit. I never had to damage any of that, so the bolts, the bars that were already in, the bolts have just gone in perfectly. It's this side. So if I can show you from this side, the bar there, I've had to use a new bar. I got that from Minisport yesterday because the threads in one of these are just knackered. So I was going to weld that back in, but when I've bolted it in just now, so I've bolted it in just now, and this is the new bar with the new bolts, and the bolts wouldn't take it, so it just kept popping out all the time. So I've got to sort all that out, clean it all up and get it all sealed in. So that bar now I can weld it into place just like that one was. And when I was at the shop yesterday, he said, well, you shouldn't really see four bars, but the bar, I don't know if you can see the bar because that thing's in way, but I've definitely got two bars there, one bar there, and then one on top and one on the bottom. It's confusing with the car being upside down. So anyway,
So anyway, let's I'm going to weld that in, weld all those holes up, grind all that rust that's come since I put the inner wings on, so it's rusted a little bit since the inner wings have gone on. I did have epoxy on it, but so I'm going to, I think it's because I've not sealed it, and when I've been grinding, a bit of swarf's gone in, and so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get that welded in, and I'm going to get some epoxy on it, finish welding a couple of holes that I drilled out to get the inner panel out, and get it all epoxied like I was supposed to do yesterday. So I'm going to sort it all today, epoxy it tomorrow. That's my plan anyway. And I've nearly run out of that as well. That's lasted me about 1.5 years, that. Right, so never mind me waffling on, I'm going to get on with it now. And I'll probably bring you back in when I've epoxied it. Oh, another thing as well, I don't know what date it is, but we're mid-July. And that's what it's in my garage. It is absolutely roasting in here. I'm just sweating. So epoxying's a bit too warm for that, so I'd have to do it in the morning. You want it about 18 to 20 degrees as well. It's roasting in here. Just a quick note, I don't think I mentioned, those are 10mm bolts. Right, I'm bringing this video to an end now because it's going on 17 minutes or so. Might be a bit more after I finish talking. So I painted the inner wings and the bulkhead. That wasn't as easy as I wanted it to be, because the gun, when you're trying to get the gun to paint the inside of the wing and the inside of the inner wing and the flitch panel down in the bottom, yeah, nice and tricky for me. The gun hit the flitch panel twice, so there's a couple of marks where the flitch panels got, well, where the gun hit that. So very interesting. Never painted inside of a wing before, so it looks okay anyway. So I'll show you the full extent of what I've been doing. So I painted the inner side of that as that. I need to pull that off. And yesterday it was 24, today it's 18. At least it cooled down for me. It looks alright in there. So there's the bar, and there's the new bar. It's ready for rubbing down and sealing next weekend, so you can see where I hit it. So I've painted all inside there. And what I like, all the floors painted. That's had time to cure. That's had a week, 2 weeks, because I didn't do anything last weekend. That's had time to cure, so that'll be, if I start rubbing that down next week, that's had like 4 weeks to dry, that's had 3 weeks to dry, and that'll have had a week, so it'd be like absolute concrete. This epoxy goes really hard compared to high build. So, but I'm not rubbing it down. I'm not rubbing it down to smooth. I'm just going to skiff the top off, get rid of the bits of dirt, and then I'm stone chipping, because it's having stone chip on it at the end of the day. So it doesn't really need to be nice and flat like the outside of it does. So we're ready to, next weekend, start flattening all the primer down, just scotching it. I've got to get some Scotch Brite, scotch it all off, and then I've got to order some paint. Well, so should I say order some Terrason, order some Raptor, and then paint it. And these videos, these aren't, I'm not doing a how-to, because I've been there before where I've done how-tos and people have jumped down my throat because they do it a different way. So these are just how I'm doing it, but I'm not showing you how I'm doing it, I'm just showing you what I've done. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you come back for the next one, because we'll be painting it.